Hey guys, this is Tanner Invest here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I compiled a list of 2025 price predictions for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I tried to find people that actually stated by the end of this year, this is what I think the price is going to be. And keep in mind, this is literally 2 months and 5 days away. So today is October 26th. So we have a little over 2 months for these to potentially be true or not true. And so they range in quite a bit, but one thing you're going to note in this video is everyone's price predictions are going up that I've seen. And obviously, a lot of these people are a little biased. They've been bulls of cryptocurrency and things like that. But that being said, there also are a lot of catalysts in the industry right now. Things like, potentially a newly appointed dovish Fed chair. We have the market structure bill called the Clarity Act that should be, there's a draft potentially being finished by Thanksgiving, and they're hoping to maybe have that finalized by end of year or early 2026. You also have things like the gold to Bitcoin ratio, the M2 money supply, and so many more catalysts. The fact that people are building on Ethereum and Solana, the institutional side of things, that's a lot of positive catalysts right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like, please subscribe. Thank you. So Tom Lee and Arthur Hayes were on a Bankless podcast 13 days ago, and they gave their price predictions toward the end of the video. And in this video here, guys, I'm not going to play any of these clips. I'm just going to link them below and just tell you what they say. I'll try to be quick and to the point. Tom Lee has a 200 to 250,000 Bitcoin price prediction by end of year. He also has a 10 to 12,000 target for Ethereum. So wild. Now, Arthur Hayes, which is the co-founder and former CEO of BitMEX, which is a cryptocurrency exchange, he has a very bullish stance as well with a 250,000 Bitcoin price target and a 10,000 ETH price target. So, Tom Lee, he's talked 100 times about why exactly he's bullish. So I'll leave that for you guys to be able to explore, or you can see my videos below. I actually have talked quite a bit about why Tom Lee's super bullish on cryptocurrency. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the next. I want to talk about Fundstrat's Mark Newton. So Mark Newton is the head of technical strategy. So he's a technical, not more of a fundamental guy. He looks at charts and things like that, technical analysis. And so he actually sees that there will be a price target of 130 to 135,000 on Bitcoin, and that S&P will reach 7,000. He did not have an ETH price target, but he did say a few things about ETH that were very, very interesting. He said that he would rather have money in ETH than in Bitcoin in the years to come, and that he does think, though, that in 2026, there could potentially be a downward cycle on cryptocurrency just because of the 4-year cycle. And right now, we're in basically year 3 of a bull run. He also says that we should see altcoins run dramatically because here soon, because toward the end of those 4-year cycles, that's typically what you see. And so he said not to really get worried until you start to see some altcoins just go ballistic, because that typically indicates that you're near the end of a cycle. And then just for the greater market, he did say that right now tech is just outpacing everything a little bit too much. And he does see a pullback in November prior to a strong December to end the year to make up for that $7,000 S&P. But he does see a pullback here in November. So we shall see. He is correct. Go and hop into the next. We have Mike Novogratz. He is the CEO of GLXY, ticker symbol GLXY. One of my newest positions. I'm super bullish, and I just came out with a video on their company. But Mike Novogratz came out with his price prediction for end of year being at 120 to 125,000. And he said that he thinks 100,000 is the absolute downside. He said we should be able to hold that resistance there. He says, I don't think it will go below 100,000 because given the buyers we see and where people seem to care. Now, I take this guy's opinion pretty, I take it pretty seriously, because his company is literally a liquidity provider for cryptocurrencies. So he kind of has a great idea about the buyer, the institutional side of things. And then obviously on the retail side, I do think that 100K level is just a huge resistance moving forward as well. So I completely agree with him there. Now, he does talk about how important the market structure bill is. So, I've talked about this. I have a video on it. The Clarity Act is super important. He said that if that gets passed, it will add a lot of liquidity to the market. And so we shall see. I did want to add this here. So I watched this entire video where this is a woman named Rebecca Retting of Geto Labs. She's been in the conversations with the Democrats and Republicans. They're trying to pass bipartisan legislation for this bill, and she said that there has been some movement and that they feel like both sides are interested in making something happen. However, the government shutdown has made this slow down just a tad bit. They're hopeful to have some sort of draft finished by Thanksgiving of this year. And so if there's a draft finished by Thanksgiving, that hopefully would be able to get this bill passed by the end of the year. And we shall see. I really, really hope that happens, because I do agree with Mike that the Clarity bill is massive catalyst for cryptocurrency moving forward. Let's go ahead and get into the next, which is Mel Mattison. Mel Mattison is a huge macroeconomist. He's an author and just big on overall sentiment for macro trends. So he has a feeling that we're going to be, for Bitcoin, this isn't Ethereum, for Bitcoin, we are at 140 to 150,000 by the end of January. So sorry guys, this wasn't the very end of year, but he does say the end of January. And what's I'm thinking is, why January? Well, that will probably be whenever, new Fed chair, potentially. We have we have the market structure bill getting a little bit more time for that to get passed. But he did mention that right now, the Bitcoin to gold correlation shows that Bitcoin should have a huge swing, because it typically trails gold. When gold rises, Bitcoin usually doesn't rise immediately with gold, but then there's a rise after. So it trails it, right? And then there's a gold to Bitcoin ratio is very low, where right now it's like 26 troy ounces of gold is equal to 1 Bitcoin. He feels like that's super low, and it should be able to become a higher ratio in the future. There's also, he said, we're getting levels where historically we see that it's time to turn. So there we go. I did want to show a couple charts real quick where you can see here. So gold here in this bottom chart here is the black line. So here we see gold rise. What happens to Bitcoin? It rises after. We see gold rise again. We see Bitcoin rise. See gold rise. We see Bitcoin rise. We see gold rise. So this is happening over and over and over, where Bitcoin has shown to trail gold. So like to see that. And then we are seeing, whenever we see a shift in the market, we could see people are taking money out of gold, and then we could see potentially the rise in gold from there. So we're seeing some trends from 2020 where when gold peaks, that's when the money starts getting taken out of gold and into Bitcoin. There is a transfer there. And we can see that happening already. Earlier this week, gold had a 5% drop, and what happened to Bitcoin on the same exact day? A lot of money was being flowed from Bitcoin from gold to Bitcoin. So now, Eric Trump. Let's get into Eric Trump. So he thinks this wasn't a full-on, hey, at the end of the year we're going to be at this number, but he did say we are going to be at 200,000 before you know it, and we are going to have a phenomenal fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is always incredible for crypto. He talked about the money supply, uncertainty, everything like that. But he said that fourth quarter is always great for Bitcoin, and said that we should be at 200,000 soon. So I'm assuming that's kind of what he meant. And then in the same interview, he said that he sees a world where Bitcoin is at $1 million in the future. And, so why? We're 2025 right now. What happens in 10 years? Could you see Bitcoin being significantly higher than it is today? I definitely could. So here's another thing. A Standard Chartered bank here, actually Tom Lee retweeted this on his X, and they actually raised the 2025 year-end ETH price to $7,500. So that's good to see, where actual institutions are starting to get into price predictions for crypto. Great to see. Here's something interesting. John Bollinger, the guy who made and created and founded the Bollinger Band, actually came out with his first ETH prediction, and Solana as well, where a potential W bottoms in Bollinger Band terms. He's saying ETH and Solana, but not in Bitcoin. So it's going to be time to pay attention soon, I think. That's pretty interesting. Listen, I'm not the biggest technical guy, but I know a lot of people have been really excited about this. And so other than that, guys, the other two things I just wanted to mention, which I did mention in my last video, was that Citizens, and we also have B. Riley. There are some price predictions now coming out from analysts that are now rating SBET and BMNR. and they both have market outperform ratings. And mostly, you guys know, with these digital asset treasury companies, most of the time when you're looking at the future of the stock price of a DAT, you're probably going to look at the underlying asset. And so both Citizens and B. Riley are very bullish on the future of Ethereum. And they now have a $50 price target. Citizens has a $50 outperform price target on SBET. And BitMine just got a $90 price target from B. Riley, which obviously a lot of that has to do with that underlying. So that is it for me, guys. I really, really appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you so much. I just wanted to make this video short and sweet to update you guys on the end of year price targets. If you want to see more content, go ahead and give me a follow, subscribe. Thank you, guys.